lecture about the installation and 7 days free trial. Spark gives you 7 days free trial before deciding to buy the software. Open the link in the resources. It will open this website. This is Videoscribe main website. If you decided to buy the software, just click on buy. I will explain how to download the software and make an account here on Sparkle. Click here on free trial. Then create an account. I'm gonna write anything for now. Then press on download. This window is gonna appear, from which you should select your operating system. By clicking on your operating system specifications, the download is going to start. Remember to go to your email to verify the account. The installation process is very easy. This is all for now. See you in the next lecture. This is Tuna. One day she was walking in the street where she found Edward and Tony arguing about their families. Edward was insisting that Tony is from Bitmap's family, but Tony wasn't accepting that idea. Tuna decided to help them. She went to the library and searched on the internet for their origins. Tuna discovered that there are two main images families, bitmaps and vectors, and there are some checks that should be done to distinguish between both of them. Tuna read in books that bitmap images are stored as a series of tiny dots called pixels. Each pixel is actually a very small square that is assigned a color and then arranged in a pattern to form the image. When you zoom in a bitmap image, you can see the individual pixels that make up the image. Bitmap graphics can be edited by erasing or changing the color of individual pixels using a program such as Adobe Photoshop. Bitmap images are the standard for internet graphics as well as Windows icons and backgrounds. Bitmaps are also the standard format for images captured by scanners and digital cameras. And she read also about vector images and found out that, unlike bitmaps, vector images are not based on pixel pattern, but instead use mathematical formulas to draw lines and curves that can be combined to create an image from geometric objects, such as circles and polygons. That doesn't mean, Tuna, that you should hold a calculator when you are designing or dealing with vector images, as they are edited by manipulating the lines and curves that make up the image using a program such as Adobe Illustrator or Inkscape. Vector images are the standard of anything that is dynamic, as they are not restricted by size or shape. Tuna spent the whole day reading about vectors and bitmaps. This time was really helpful, as she made a checklist that will help her to know the families of Edward and Tony, depending on file size, color gradient, conversion, shape, scale, realism, and format. She started with the file size. For bitmaps, the file size depends on the image size. When the image size increases, that means the numbers of pixels will increase, so that the total file size will be larger. For vectors, the file size depends on the image complexity. As the number of objects used to form the image increases, the image size will increase. In general, the vectors are smaller in size than bitmaps. That's because a bitmap image has to store color information for each individual pixel that forms the image. A vector image just has to store the mathematical formulas that make up the image, which take up less space. When Tuna checked the file size of Edward and Tony, she found that Tony is too much smaller than Edward. Then Tuna moved to the second check, which was the color gradient. For bitmaps, the individual image consists of millions of pixels. Each one stores a color, so they form a good representation for color gradients. For vectors, it's a complicated process to have a vector representing the same color gradient as bitmap. Tuna found that Tony has few color gradients. He consists only from 5 colors, while Edward consists of a variety of color gradients. The next check was conversion. Tuna read that you can easily convert between two bitmap formats. Also, it's easy to convert from vector to bitmap, but conversion from vector to another vector is a process that results in quality loss, more than that occurs during the conversion between two bitmaps. Also, the conversion from bitmap to vector is a really process which results in non-satisfying results. Then Tuna check their shapes. For bitmaps, they have that constant rectangular shape. That can represent a lot of problems, especially if you want to build an image over another one. For vectors, they have any mathematical shape. They could be triangle, circle, rectangle, any other shape, or an irregular shape. She checked the scale too. For bitmaps, when they are resized, you will lose the quality of the image, and when you try to zoom in the image, you can see the pixels. For vectors, they can be resized or put at any desired scale with nearly no loss in quality. And when she came to the realism of the image, Tuna started to explain that bitmap images are more realistic than the vector images, and it was seen that he was convinced for the first time. The last check was for format. Tuna told them that the common bitmap formats are, and the common vector formats are. Edward is AGBG image and Tony is ASVG image. Now they know their family thanks to Tuna. Thank you, Tuna. New lecture about Start Screen and Canvas. This is the first screen that you will see after logging in. Here in the middle you can find all the projects that you have saved. And if there are too many, Videoscribe provides different methods to search for the projects that you want. You can search with keywords from this icon, which allows you to apply searching filters. Another method is to sort your project using one of those three filters. I want to mention that all the projects that you find here are the projects existing in the base folder of the software. This is a default location for saving any file in Videoscribe. I don't prefer saving my project on this location, as if you face the operating system failure, all of your work is gonna vanish. And that's what happened to me a couple days ago. I changed my operating system from Linux to Windows. As a result, all my projects saved on this folder were removed. If you move with your mouse over any of these projects, you will find two icons. One for changing the name of the scribe file and the other for deleting it. Here you can find other sorting filters. These three filters used to sort the folders located down there. Also we have recent scribes. This one can show you the recent projects that you have worked on. Look at scribes, this one is for scribes located in your device. Online scribes, this one is for the scribes that you saved on the online cloud, and I will tell you how to do this later in this lecture. Going down you will find three more icons. Let's talk about them. This icon is used to import the scribes from a location in your device. This one is for preferences. From here you can change the language. And this one is used to manage your account on a Sparkle website. Then we have scribe defaults. The first default that we have here is the auto-saving time. It ranges between 0 and 30 minutes. 0 for no autosave, so the software won't save anything unless you save them manually. Some designers use it as 0, as autosaving interrupts your work and slows down the software. But I don't like to set it to 0, as if the software crashes I will lose everything. Try not to set the autosave time too high or even too low. Use 5 minutes for example is a good autosave time. Then we have the default transition time. So what's the transition time? The transition time is the time given to the software to move from one object to another. For me, I like to set that time to 0. And if I want to add some transition time, I prefer to add it for each object. Half second is a good option too. Just keep this in mind. We use 0 transition time if we aren't going to change the camera setting position, and a transition time which equals to half second if you are going to change the camera position but within the same paper. Finally, the transition time of 1 second is used if we are going to change the camera position to another paper view. You may understand nothing now, but write them down and I will recall them later. And for default pause time, the pause time is the time after the drawing action. In this time, The software is not doing anything, just waiting for that time to finish. Use the default value for that time between 0 and 1 second. Later we will learn together how to select the best timing for your objects. Maximum draw time. It ranges between 0 and 60 seconds. Don't set that time above 3 seconds. Using long drawing time leads to losing the attention of your viewers. Then we have default image quality. It ranges between 400 to 4000 pixels. Don't set it too high, as this will consume a lot of your device memory, leading to a lot of software crashes and problems. Depending on my device specifications, I use image quality of 2000 pixels, and I think it's going to be good with you too. The question mark icon here is used to contact the support and give them your feedback. After learning more about the start screen, it's time now to open a new scribe. This is our workspace. All the tools that we are gonna use exists here, so from right to left. I think you are now familiar with this question mark icon. This icon is used to publish or render your video. These two icons are used for playing the scribe file, to help you to preview what you have done till now and edit it. The hand icon here is used to set a default drawing hand for the project. This brush icon is used to change the texture and color of the background. This microphone is used to insert or record the voice-over. Finally, this one is used to insert background music. Going to the right, we have those three icons for cut, copy, and paste. And this one is for saving your scribe project. Let's talk about it. From time to time, it's better to save what you have done during the design phase. By clicking on this icon, it will open this window. In this window, you can find three possible ways to save your project here in Videoscribe. The default method is by writing the project name and clicking on the check button. You can also create a new folder to save your projects in, or select from the folders that you created before. The second method is to save the project in a location in your device. Click on this icon, choose the location and press save. But notice that Videoscribe projects are saved as .scribe format. The last method is to save your projects in the online cloud that Sparkle gives you, so you can get an access to it anytime and anywhere. Going back to the Welcome Video project, this white box is called the canvas. Here you will find the texts and images that you inserted. You will find the ruler too, which will help you in combining the scene from multiple objects. These arrows over here are used to move through the canvas. They are really helpful. Then we have zoom out, zoom in, and fit to screen button. Going down, you will find the timeline. Here you can find the images and texts that you inserted. In order to make any of these objects active for editing, just click on it from the timeline and double click to view that object. Can you see this eye over here? This eye is used to show and hide the objects. Hiding objects doesn't mean that they won't be rendered during publishing the video. No, it's just a tool that is used to hide objects to make the editing process easier and faster. The last 6 icons are related to insert. This one is used to insert images, this to insert text, and this for charts. Those are camera set and unset button. The last icon that we have here is unhide all elements. This one is used to unhide any hidden elements, so that you can see now how the whole project looks before rendering. Well, that's all for now. See you in the next lecture. New lecture about text in Videoscribe. This icon is used for inserting text here in Videoscribe. When you press on it, it will open the text window. In this window, I need you to know 5 things. Number 1, this is a text box where you are gonna write your text. Number 2, from here you can change the text color. You can choose from a variety of colors, or you can use your own color using hex code. Number 3, you can control the alignment of your text from those 3 buttons. I think that you are already familiar with them. Number 4 and 5 are related to the fonts used. These drop-downs store the import of fonts for current use in Videoscribe, but unfortunately, there is no way to see how these fonts look like before using them. So you have to know the fonts that you are going to use and how they look like in your brain. I hate these. Okay, I remember that in version 2 of the software there was a window with the actual appearance of these fonts to choose from. But at least you can see how these fonts look like by clicking on Manage Fonts. It will open another window that contains both the imported fonts and the available fonts on your device. The main difference between both of them is that the imported fonts are ready for direct use in Videoscribe, but you should import the available fonts to be added to the imported fonts. This can be easily done by clicking on the font which you want to import, then choose the language of this font if it's not English, of course. Finally, click on the check button. You may be wondering why Videoscribe is not directly using these fonts and why I should import them. The answer is easy. Videoscribe draws the strokes, so this import step transforms the normal text into vectors, so that Videoscribe can draw them in the canvas. Wow, I have been talking for so long without showing you any text. Okay, let's try some words like Welcome to Videoscribe course. I will change the color to be red, for example. Then I will change the font. Okay, that's good. To preview this text and see how it will be drawn, click on this icon. I am assuming that you are doing the same steps with me right now. Okay, let's play with our text here. If you want to change the size of the text to be larger or even smaller, it's very easy. All what you have to do is to click on the text here in the timeline or from the canvas. From these corners, you can change the size of the text to the size that you want. What if you want to change the inclination of the text? Highlight the text again. Go to the center where you can see this circle. Click and move. As far as you go away from the center, the rotation action becomes slower. This is helpful in precise inclination setting. Let's preview it again, but this time from the timeline. Highlight the text, then choose play from current element. If you want to increase or decrease the animation time, you can increase it from here or decrease it from here by half second for each click. Or you can put the animation value directly by clicking here. Then write what you want, then click on True. Let's have another example, but this time I want to enter a vertical text such as GE Motors. This will be helpful if you want to make a video for your own store, for example, and you have a store vector with a vertical banner. I will enter the text like this, and here we go again. Let's preview it. We can use this trick to introduce something to our viewers, like abbreviations. For example, SOS, which stands for Save Our Souls. I will insert SOS like we did before. Now, I will insert the rest of the words in a different color. Let's review. I will do something now and we will talk about it later. I will set the camera for all of these texts at this position. Let's preview it again. Okay, it needs a lot of modification to be ready for use. I'll discuss everything later. This is good for now. In the next lecture, I will talk about text properties. See you there. New lecture about text properties. Videoscribe supplies you with different features with the text to help you to build your magical touch. I will start by inserting a simple text like Whiteboard Animation. Highlight the text on the timeline. You will find a small pop-up window. In this window, you can find text properties, delete drawing, play from current element, and animate. I'm going to talk about the first and the last one, and you already know what the other two do. Starting by animate. From here you can control the animation time for your drawings. It increases or decreases the animation time by half second. Or you can put the value that you want by clicking here. You can enter any value, even values below half second. Then we go for the text properties. We can open this window using two different ways, or maybe three. Actually, there are three. This was the first one, and the other by double-clicking on the drawing in the screen canvas. Anyway, let's discover this window together. In this window, you can find four different windows, or menus. The first one is Edit Text. From this window, you can edit or even replace the text that you entered before. And then we have also Drawing Option window. In this window from left to right, this is a small preview screen for this drawing. It shows you how your drawing looks like with the current properties. Then we have the animation drop-down menu, in which you can find different animations available here in Videoscribe. Actually, they are not too much. We have only 4 animations. Actually, there were just 3 and Sparkle added another one in this version. The first animation is Draw, and it's a standard animation here in Videoscribe. If you inserted anything in Videoscribe, it's going to be Draw by default. You can see also only Draw Strokes checkbox. And you may be wondering, what are strokes? The rough definition for the strokes is that strokes are the outlines of the object. We will talk about them in details later. The second animation is Moving. The object comes in the screen from a custom direction that you select. North, east, south, west, or any other direction in between. Also, you can control the direction of movement to be linear or even curved from here. Let's review. It's a little bit annoying to have a hand inserting the text by that way. Or you may want to change the hand with your hand or even another hand or a pen. Okay, follow me to the next window, which is Drawing Hand. From this window you can select from multiple hands and pens, or even use your own hand. Just click on the hand that you want and go back to Drawing window to preview the current hand with your drawing. There are 2 types of hands available here in Videoscribe. Hands on your device and the online hands. Let's preview some of those online hands. Okay. You may be waiting for me to tell you how to use your own hand. Of course, it's a beautiful thing to use your own hand, especially if you are a teacher. Okay, click on Create a new hand and follow the instructions in the file added in the resources. Going back to Moving Animation in the Drawing Options window. We have also moving effects like Smooth, Overshoot, Bounce, Uniform. Just try them and you will figure out the difference. The third animation is Fade In Animation. This is a new common animation. I remember in version 2 to make a single fade in animation. It's going to be a great story to tell your kids about. Let's review this animation. The fourth animation is Morph. This animation is not supported for text, but you will find it when you insert image. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you a beautiful fast method to use Morph animation for text too, in the Advanced Techniques section. Going down in that window, you will find Draw Back Words. This one is used for languages that are written from right to left, like Arabic. Let's preview it, but set the animation back to draw. Then we have Gap. It represents the distance between the letters. Its value ranges between -100 and +100. Increasing its value increases the distance between letters and vice versa. The following property is Opacity. It ranges between 0 to 100, and it represents the solidity of the text. Decreasing the opacity increases the transparency. Then we have Rotation. I told you before that we can rotate any object from the center of it, and this is the second method for rotation. The last thing in this menu is time. Here you can find animate, pause, and transition time. You can control them from here as I mentioned before. The time down here represents the start time in the whole video of this object, and this represents the end time. In between, you will find the duration of this object. Finally, the last part in this lecture is about graphic filters. But before we start, let me change the color of the text to be red. I'm back! Okay, the first filter that we have here is blur. This is a horizontal blur in x-axis direction, and this is a vertical blur in y-axis direction. They are connected to each other, so if I change any of them, the other will change. If you want to break that connection, all you have to do is to click here. Then you can control them once by once. The second filter here is glow. It ranges from 0 to 50. It adds another depth in the text. You can select the glow color from here. This is how your text is going to be. Then we have brightness, saturation, contrast. Play with them and you will figure out what they do. Drop shadow is making shadow for the text letters from the outside. It's controlled by shadow angle, offset, which is the shadow distance from the letter, opacity, and blur. Play with them to figure out how to make the best use of them. The same thing for inner shadow and bevel. There is a practice file in the resources in which you can find different texts with different filters. Review how I made those filters to get more experience. See you in the next lecture. Lecture about images. I told you before that we have two types of images, vectors and bitmaps. The most preferred type of them is vector images, as we can use the draw animation smoothly with them. Videoscribe draw animation draws the strokes of the images, and as we know, bitmaps have no strokes. So Videoscribe defines random strokes, and this won't be good, at least from my perspective. Anyway, you're gonna see everything and judge. There are a lot of ways to insert images, and I will cover all of them. Basically, there are three main sources of images. The first one is to use the images from the library. In the library, you can find two types of images, vectors and GIFs. Click here to insert any image. This is the main window that you get. In this window, you will find different options that you have in order to insert images. These images are the recently used images from the library or from any other source, so you can use them again when you want. Let me tell you that this is a very helpful thing to have here in Videoscribe. So why? This is because sometimes you need some images that you have already used recently, and this will save the time searching for them or inserting them from an external source. So just believe me, it's awesome. This is a recommended images. It's a new feature in Videoscribe that suggests some images for you to use depending on the search words history and the keywords related with the images used from the library. Then, it's the library turn now. You can view the library images by clicking on these folders. Let's select an image for preview. You can find GIFs in the library. In the GIF folder, I will use this one for example. Let's preview it. I will combine it with some text. You can change the properties of the GIF by opening the Image Properties window. Change this option to Loop and activate this checkbox. Then preview. That seems to be good. This is not the whole story. I have more for you. Another new feature in Videoscribe version 3 is advanced search. The search has greatly improved in this version by applying filters, so that we can reduce the result to a small number to increase the speed and productivity. For example, let's search for arrow. Now, Look at these filters. I need an arrow with 3 points. Videoscribe is filtering the results to get the 3 points arrow for you. Another filter is the style, colored or not, animated or not, and more. So, what if the library is not satisfying you, and you wanna add your own images? Okay, but Videoscribe has some restrictions. Videoscribe only accepts some image formats. It only accepts the following formats: SVG, GIF, bitmaps, and ZIB. Videoscribe can read vector formats, AI, ABS, and any other vector format except for SVG. I will tell you later how to use other vector formats in Videoscribe, but for now we won't use any other format. If you want to add an image on your device, click here. Then go to the image location and import it. That's it. Let's import another image, but this time a bitmap image. This is a window that will appear when you are trying to import a bitmap image. For draw animation, you have 2 options. The first one is reveal, and your image will be drawn like that. And a sketch option, and your image will be drawn like that too. For me, I won't choose any of them. For bitmaps, I prefer to use move in or fade in animation. This is more realistic and more convincing to the viewer. Another method is to trace that image and convert it to SVG vector. And I will tell you how to do that in the advanced techniques section. You may be wondering, where is the fade in animation in that window? Well, that's my question too to the software developer. But anyway, insert the image using in animation and then open the properties window. You will find all the 4 animations there. Another way to insert images is to gather all the images that you will use in a ZIB file and import it by the same way of bitmaps. Then Videoscribe will preview the images from that file to choose from. This is helpful when your customer sends all the images that he's going to use as a compressed file. We haven't finished yet. What if you have a web image and you want to use it? Instead of downloading the image and then inserting it into Videoscribe, you can just copy the image URL and go to Videoscribe and then click on that button, then paste the URL. You can use this method to make Videoscribe download images, both vectors and bitmaps for you. Anyway, it's a very good time-saving feature. That's good for now. In the next lecture, we will complete our speech about images. See you. Lecture about image properties. This lecture is gonna be very short as most of image properties were covered in text properties. Let's open the image properties window for this image. We have here 4 menus too. The first menu is used when you want to replace the image by another image. Just select the image you want and it will be inserted in the canvas instead of the current image. All the properties related with the first image like animation, post transition, and the camera won't change. The second menu is the graphic filters. I will change the drop shadow values, change the color, set the offset to 16, change the opacity to 100, set blur to 0, then preview the image. You can see now that there is a lot of things that you can do with those filters here. Just try to play with them and you will learn by experience. The next menu is drawing options. Here you can find morph animation. Morph animation transforms the strokes of the image to the strokes of another image. This can be done only if you have inserted an image before this image. That means if this is the first image to be used in the scribe, you won't find morph animation. Select this image so that it will be transformed to our image. This clear item checkbox tells you that if you want to morph with deleting the first image. Let's preview it. Uncheck this button to keep both images. Let's preview again. This icon here is for reflecting the image. This one provides options for how the image looks. You can find full color, outline, grayscale, and silhouette. There's nothing else new. See you in the next lecture. New lecture about charts. Charts are a powerful tool to express statistics and convince your customer why your service is better. Before we start, I need you to know that Videoscribe is not Microsoft Excel. Don't expect that plenty of options in charts types and features. To create a chart, press on that button. Here we go. This is a charts window. Videoscribe supports 3 types of charts. You can add bar, by, and line charts. So how can we insert the data in this chart? This is the labels text box. You should insert the labels of your chart here separated with comma. And we can insert the values of the labels in this text box. Remember to keep the same order. Now, all the required data for the chart is inserted. There are some optional features also to choose from, such as the font family of the labels. Select the font that you need from here. Let's preview it. This is our chart, but I think it needs improvements. Open the properties window and then edit chart. So, what we can do here? We can add colors to the chart by checking this box, so it will be much easier for the eye to identify the chart. Let's see. Or we can change the chart type to choose from by a line. We can change the thickness of the drawn line from here. Put the value that you want in pixels. Nice one. If you notice that the values of the labels are not previewed. Also, this is a feature that we can use if you just wanna add the chart in order to clarify idea by comparison and you don't want the values to appear. Although you can make them appear by checking this box. Now you can see the values of the labels inside the chart. You can put the labels and values inside or outside the chart area from here. I think that we have already talked about the other windows, so I'm not going to talk about them now. Going back to the beginning of this lecture, I told you that Videoscribe doesn't have all those options in Excel. Well, if I can bring that quality of Excel charts in Videoscribe, this is what I'm going to tell you in the advanced techniques section. Keep learning. Lecture about drawing hands. Using the same hand every time becomes boring. You wanna change, you wanna have more than one hand with more than one option, with a lot of pens and tools, or you may like to use your own hand in drawing effect. Waiting is over. Today we are gonna learn how to change the hand for the whole project or a custom element. We can select a hand for the whole project from this button. In this window you will find 2 types of hands. The hands located out here are available offline, so you can use them at any time. And the hands existing in these folders are available online, and you need to download them first by clicking on them. By exploring those folders, you will find different hands holding different pens. You can find the hand with brush, eraser, chalk for blackboard, and many other objects. When you are selecting a hand for the whole project, you need to select a hand that matches with all objects that you are gonna use. For example, don't select a hand with chalk and you're drawing a colored object. It should be compatible with the objects used or you are gonna change it a lot. What if you need to use your own hand? This is a very simple process that you can do it easily by following the steps existing in the resources. For using a hand for a single object or even selecting no hand option, all what you have to do is to open the properties window for this object. Then go to the drawing hand window and select the hand that you want. Doing this will change the hand for this element only. while the rest of the project will be drawn with the project default hand. I know that I have talked about those things before on different occasions, but I gathered them for you here to focus on them. I think we reached the end of this lecture. Keep practicing. Lecture about background music. Combining the video with music can have a special effect, so you should select the suitable music for your videos. We are so lucky as Sparkle cares about that. You can add background music easily with the help of this button. In this window you will find beautiful music for background. There are 5 filters for sorting music. You can sort those music tracks from here, by name from A to Z. Or they can be sorted from short to long. So the short files with the smallest duration will be at the beginning. Or they can be sorted from long to short. Another filter is to sort them by type from calm to heavy. In this filter, the calm music will be at the beginning and the loud and heavy music will be at the end. Also, you can know the type of the music from the squares beside the name. The more the squares, the louder the music. And this is really cool, as it gives you an impression about the music, so you don't have to open all of them to select one. The last filter that we have here is heavy to calm. What if you don't like all the music tracks exist here? Simple, use your own. You can insert MP3 files from your device by clicking on this icon. Remember, Videoscribe supports only MP3 format. Finally, we can use web URL, so Videoscribe will download it and use it directly. To listen to the music that you want, just click on this icon and wait for a while, because these music tracks are available online. Click on the file. When it appears here, this means that this track is the used one. You should take in consideration the length compared with the project. For example, if you have a project that's 4 minutes and the music only 1 minute, this means that the music will stop after 1 minute, and to make it play continuously, check this box so it will run in a loop. But you have to pay attention to the volume of the music used because it should be compatible with the voiceover. It shouldn't be high or it will be a source of disturbance. So you can adjust the volume of the music from this slide bar. You have to adjust it carefully, and believe me, small details can make the video great or damage it. Okay, let's see. When this button has a different color, this means that the music option is used. To remove the music option, open it again and click on this pen. The last thing that I'd like to talk about in this lecture is my opinion. When I use music for background, I prefer to add it externally, so I can adjust the level of the music depending on the situation, the pace of the voiceover, and the topic. But adding the music with a built-in feature is a good option. That's all for now. See you in the next lecture. Lecture about paper texture and color. Videoscribe background is not only white background with no texture. Changing the background color is important in some cases. This could help you to get more attention from viewers, or you can use your brand color. You can change the background color from this icon. Here you can find the color, texture, and vignette. You can select from different textures from here. There are 9 textures for background paper in Videoscribe. Notice that the quality of the background paper is not affected by the zoom and also don't move with you. What really moves are the objects that you use like that. You will find out why texture is so cool when you combine it with color. Color is easy to be selected from here. Ordinary people will see these colors as only colors. But later we will learn some tricks with these colors, like how to make green screen video. I will give you an example. You can make a blackboard as a background. Select this color and combine it with this texture. That's it. Now we can add some text. such as Whiteboard Animation. Select the color to be white. That sounds good. Now, I will change the hand to a hand with chalk. Yes, this one is good. Let's preview. This is for text, so what we can do with images. Let's search for Stickman in the library. This one is good. This image has black strokes. We need to change its color into white. Open the Properties window. From the Properties window, you can select different options of how an image appears, such as full color, outline, and grayscale. In this case, I will use outline and then white color. Okay, this isn't the only reason for which we changed the texture. You can change it to your brand color, so it will add a great value to your video. Also, you can add vignette. This effect makes dark circles around the page. You can find soft vignette and hard vignette, which can be used in storytelling mode. For example, if you want the viewer to focus only on the center of the canvas while your video is playing, this method creates much more concentration, but also it makes the page very dark, and you can bulb any element near the corner as they won't appear. You will find in the Advanced Techniques section how to use Videoscribe to make green screen animation video. Have fun! Lecture about voiceover. Videoscribe supports 3 different ways to insert voiceover: recording the voiceover while playing the scribe, inserting MP3 file from your own device, or downloading MP3 from the internet. Recording the voiceover is a process that may be after or before making the video. It depends on a lot of things. For example, if you are a freelancer and the customer sent a voiceover for you and asked you to make a video. So you are going to insert the voiceover in the beginning of the design. And this will help you in the designing a lot, as it will give you an indication of the animation pause and transition time values. As Videoscribe previews the elements during recording, which allows better timing. That helps you to harmonize the elements during time with the voice. And to record such a voice, click on this button, then click on record. Then, you should select the microphone that you use. Press here to record. This is a basic way of inserting a voiceover for Videoscribe, and this method is suitable for professionals who have a setup that is isolating noise and have a high quality microphone. As if you made a mistake, you would record it again from the beginning. This method is not providing any way of editing the voiceover after recording it. In my team, we don't use this method of recording the voiceover. But I'll give you an example of how it works. This is a scribe file of bitmaps versus vectors lecture. I'm going to record a small voiceover clip. Okay, let's go. This is Tuna. One day she was walking in the street where she found Edward and Tony arguing about their families. Edward was insisting that Tony is from Bitmap's family, but Tony wasn't accepting that idea. Tuna decided to help them. She went to the library and searched on the Let's preview. This is Tuna. One day she was walking in the street where she found Edward and Tony arguing about their families. Edward was insisting that Tony is from Bitmap's family, but Tony wasn't accepting that idea. Tuna decided. As you can see, the video is being previewed while you are recording the voice over, and this is service in finishing the project very fast. In my team, we record the voiceover using a software like Audacity or Audition. Then we render the video from the Videoscribe and synchronize them together using a software like Adobe Premiere or Camtasia. If you don't understand the last process, just let me know in the lecture discussion. This is all for now. See you in the next lecture. Lecture about camera setting. Making a video without setting camera for object is gonna be a bad idea, because each object will have its own camera position. As a result, the video will be like someone playing with the zoom button. So how can we define the camera in Videoscribe perspective? The answer is, camera is the location and the zoom of any object with respect to the canvas dimensions. Or in other words, imagine that your eyes are the camera and you can't see anything except the canvas area. And when you press on the camera set button, this is what you are gonna see when you preview the video. We set the camera by setting the position and zoom. If you want to set the camera of such an object, you have to zoom, move right, left, up and down to the views that you want to see. Then click on camera set button here, or you can press right click then set camera. If you want to remove the camera position of this object, click on camera and set button, or press right click then clear camera. These are the two methods of setting the camera in addition to the default camera position for the object. When you become more familiar with Videoscribe, you won't set the camera for each single object. No, you need now to learn how to create a full scene and then set the camera for all objects. It's easy to set the camera for more than one object by selecting them and set the position, then press camera set button. You can select objects by holding Shift while clicking on them, or hold Shift and select the first one and last one, so it will select all objects between them. Another helpful thing is to use these arrows and zoom buttons to move through the project and set the camera at the position that you want. It's really helpful. I'm not going to give you examples now about camera setting, as we're gonna talk about everything in the project design. Remember, it's all about your imagination. Think, draw, and create. See you. Lecture about video rendering. After finishing your project, for sure you wanna get it out. I will use this project with only one image to show you how it works. Just click on the share icon. It will open this window in which you can find different options to publish your video. You can share it with PowerPoint, Facebook, and YouTube. You can export the video to an external PowerPoint project just by clicking here. After finishing the rendering, it will ask for a saving directory. Save the final file and open it to preview your final product. I want to mention that the video rendered using this option is not that high quality video. As you can see, the video is blurry. It's not that decent quality. The quality of those videos are slightly below 720p. You can also export it to Facebook. Click on Facebook icon and wait till the video rendering finishes. Then another window will appear, asking you to insert the title and description for your video. I write anything, then press on the check button and go to your wall to see the video. For YouTube, exporting option is nearly the same as Facebook, and it will export a video with 720p resolution. The most important thing for me and for you is to export it into a location on your device. This is done from here. This window will appear when you click on that icon, giving you exporting options. Choose the format, size, and the frame rate that you want. In this window, you can find 5 different exporting formats: QuickTime Movie, AVI, Image Sequence, PNG or JPG, and Windows WMV. All of them are video formats except for PNG and JPG are image sequence. Let's export it as an image sequence. I'll set the size to be 720p and the frame rate to be 15, as we don't need too much frames here because it's an image sequence. And this is the final product. So you may be asking why image sequence is important. Okay, image sequence exports the images with no background, so it can be used in any other video editing software to be combined with any other sequence. This is like having a green screen without having a green screen effect. so you can make scenes with Videoscribe and use it as effect in other videos. I will give you an example in green screen lecture of how to use this trick. And for video exporting formats, don't set the frame rate below 25 if you are exporting a video, while 15 is a good choice for image sequence. Change the name from here and select the directory by clicking here. And you know the rest. The last option that you have is to export them to Sparkle Online Cloud, so you can get a short link or embed to use in your own website. And don't worry about the privacy, you have a lot of options here. This is the website in which you can find, share, and download your videos. Sparkle will send you an email including the embedded link of your video. By the end of this lecture, I can tell you that we have finished Videoscribe software features, but this is not enough to make a video. So in the advanced techniques section, I'll be focusing on how to combine all what we have learned together. See you there.